Welcome to Old Fox Racing PlayStation. Welcome to the last round of the Old World Formula 1 Championship, a 5-round, 10-race league with the Lotus 49C, and this is the last round, so races 9 and 10 here at the Monza circuit, and appropriately running the classic version, the historic version with no chicanes whatsoever, so there's going to be quite a lot of accelerating, quite a lot of drafting as well in this circuit. Look at that amazing formation, old style formation, rows of 3 followed by rows of 2, and we have 15 drivers in this race. Let's go through the starting grid, and it is Delphi Mora on pole position, followed by championship leader Rob Oldham, followed by Darren Head. Second row, it's Jorge Jesus and Andrew Dalby. Third row, Diogo Silva, Diogo Almeida, and Gonçalo Mota, all Portuguese. Third row. Fourth row, it's Jambo and Joey English. What can he do from 10th place? He probably missed the drafting in qualifying. We would expect him to be much higher up, but from 10th, what can he do? Let's find out. 11th is Scott Devlin, followed by Simon Allen, another driver that we would expect to recover, followed by Kev Allen as well. The Allens are at the back of the grid. They probably didn't draft from one another in qualifying again. And the last row, it's David Emge and John Scott. It should be quite an interesting race, hopefully not too much carnage, although with these open wheelers you never know what's going to happen. And we are about to get started here for 14 laps, and look at the start by Delphi Mora. It was an amazing start, and everyone is heading very quickly indeed towards Curva Grande. Everything okay so far in this race. Let's see. The first real corner is going to be Curva Grande, and look at this. Darren Head is going to go to the lead. Darren Head is going to go to the lead. He's had an amazing start as well, side by side there through Curva Grande on the first lap. Oh, and carnage. Oh, and the leaders have crashed. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Darren Head is involved in it. Lots of different cars are delayed. Delphi Mora is delayed. Diogo Almeida also delayed. Gonçalo Mota and race leader Darren Head. We will try to see what on earth happened here. Look at the amount of debris on the track. Fortunately, no damage in this league, and let's find out how this has started, because I suspect it has started right at the front, and it was Darren Head who is on the inside there. He's on the inside, and he is going to slide towards Delphi Mora, and then is absolute chaos with the drivers behind trying to avoid the carnage. I'm surprised that look at that, that's Diogo Almeida there. No, John Scott, I'm sorry, John Scott was in the middle of this. No, that's Gonçalo Mota, I apologize. Let's look at this from Gonçalo's perspective. And again, we expected a bit of carnage, but this, well, probably not as early, and certainly not involving the leaders, so that we had only side by side there of 2 cars. Let's go. No, we lost now Gonçalo Mota here. He was in 7th place. There you go. Gonçalo Mota is in the middle of the pack, and is getting, almost hit by another driver. There was Diogo Silva, I believe. There's the carnage, and and Gonçalo Mota nowhere to go, and ends up in the, and that gets hit there big time by, I believe, John Scott, who arrived late into this. And oh my god, has been a lot of carnage, and more importantly, these drivers are now, they are not in the draft as Diogo Silva. Let's get some perspective from his start as well, as he was in 6th or 7th, I believe, and of course he has recovered to 3rd place. Let's see how he has avoided the carnage, because it was a little bit of a close call. There you see he's in 8th place on the start. There is the, and then, well, nicely done there by Diogo with a couple of contacts that drafts on Jorge Jesus and up into 3rd place. Meanwhile, it is championship leader Rob Oldham that is leading this race, and he could be en route for his first championship. Let's see now through Lesmo 2, and Rob Oldham already hitting the barriers there, as everyone in the leading pack has survived that carnage and is now safely going towards the end of the first lap through the Ascari. Very strange not to see a chicane here. It's an absolutely flat out corner, and look at Andrew Dalby. Andrew Dalby is getting close to Rob Oldham. He may even grab the lead. Look at that. We can see the top 6 or top 7. But this is the battle for the lead here, the Parabolica, and Rob Oldham is going to retain that lead and is going to lead the opening lap of this race, followed by Andrew Dalby. But look at Andrew Dalby. He wants that lead. Third is Diogo Silva. Fourth is Jabu. Fifth is... something happened to Jorge Jesus. What happened to Jorge Jesus? He is... Well, he is without a rear wing. That doesn't really matter because there is no damage in this league, but well, something must have happened to Jorge, because he had recovered from the carnage and somehow got into more trouble shortly afterwards, or not. Well, not really. He was caught a little bit in the carnage as well. Well, he basically... Oh, no. There was carnage there. And this is already at the second chicane. Oh, and he collided with Joey English. I believe it was Joey. Yes, it was. Let's look at this from Joey's perspective. And Joey, well, loses quite a lot of time there, but what on earth happened? I think they were just clearly pointing to the same piece of track, but oh dear. This is Jorge Jesus is in third place, and that's Diogo Silva overtaking him, and then and Jorge trying to come back behind Diogo to draft him, potentially ends up basically blocking Joey, and Joey ends up losing quite a fair bit of time. There is Darren Head up into 10th place, and Jorge Jesus is rejoins in 9th, look at 12th place, because Delphi Moura is in 11th, the man that started on pole position, but clearly was involved in that major carnage at the Curva Grande. So now we have quite a lot of illustrious drivers. Look at this: 9th place Jorge Jesus, 10th place Darren Head, 11th Delphi Moura, 12th Joey English, and make it Diogo Almeida in 12th. 13th is Joey English, Gonçalo Mota and John Scott. They're all somewhat delayed, and look at that, already a lot of pushing and shoving there at the Parabolica, as it is Gonçalo Mota that goes into 12th place. And look at this, look at that, that's quite a big battle there between Joe English, Diogo Almeida, and Gonçalo Mota now runs wide there, and look at that, it is Andrew Dalby that has gone into the lead of this race on the second lap. Andrew Dalby running side by side there through the Curva Grande, and that was a little bit dangerous from Rob Oldham, but he definitely wants to seal his first championship with a win. The top 5 have now checked out from everyone else. 6th place man is Kev Allen. Now, can Kev rejoin the pack? Being part of this leading pack surely is going to be critical to win this race. And at the moment we've got 5 drivers. Look at that, all sorts of using the barrier as a brake there at Lesmo 2. And the leading pack is now, well, Simon Allen in 5th is only a couple of seconds off the leader. He's losing a little bit of draft. Here comes Andrew Dalby on Rob Oldham. Andrew Dalby on Rob Oldham. There's a battle there at the back. I think it's Scott Davely trying to go around David Emge. And look at this. It is Andrew Dalby. Oh, runs wide. Andrew Dalby runs wide there at the Parabolica. Here comes Diogo Silva. And Diogo Silva is going to try to get to the lead. Look at this. To the line. Who is going to lead this lap? It's absolutely side by side, the 3 of them, and it's almost a dead heat in the line as they go now, more importantly, 3 wide into Curva Grande, and they will not do the corner 3 wide. It's not possible to go 3 wide in this corner. Look at this. Oh, Andrew Dalby! Andrew Dalby got hit by Rob Oldham. And we'll have a replay of what happened there, but Rob Oldham retains the lead now. But what a disaster for Andrew Dalby. He is down in 6th place now and losing more time, because look at this, he's getting overtaken left, right and center by Scott Levy, who by the way did overtake David Emke. Scott Levy coming now 3 wide into Lesmo 1. And it is Jumbo, no, it's not Jumbo, it's, and a crash there. We'll get the replay of all of this. I think Andrew Dalby is probably the driver that we need to look at, because of that initial incident at the Curva Grande when Andrew was on the outside, and I think he and Rob just pointed the car to the same place, unfortunately, and Diogo Silva was on the inside there. Let's see the replay of this incident. As let's have a look. They're running side by side, 3 wide. Now, Rob Oldham is, well, they got very close. They basically interlocked wheels as Andrew was coming with some momentum, and his right rear ends up hitting Rob's left front, and, well, is a passenger from now. Almost doesn't go on his side, but eventually he is basically now a bit of a sitting duck. Now he is under attack now from David Emke and from Scott Davely, a combination of Americans trying to get this position. And look at this, it's going to be one driver on the inside, one driver on the outside. Andrew is now in the middle. Here comes, oh, it was Jorge Jesus actually. It was Jorge Jesus that was trying to do a multiple overtake, which almost worked there, but not quite. Let's have a quick replay, and this shows you how the drafting is just so strong in this car. Look at this. Actually, it's not David Emke. David Emke was already in 9th place. Actually, this is Jorge Jesus going around David. Now he's coming, and he sees the opportunity, but probably again is a bit unwise to go 3 wide here. He ends up going on the inside, and he almost clears Andrew, but not quite. Andrew was already turning in, and he ends up losing a few more positions. David Emke recovers 8th place. 9th is now Jorge Jesus, and 10th is going to be Darren Head. Darren Head is recovering, so is Delphi Moura and Joey English. We'll keep an eye on these battles there at the back. But now we've got the new configuration of the leading pack, which is just a duet of Diogo Silva in 2nd place and championship and race leader Rob Oldham. We are at the end of lap 3, and let's see if we're going to see another change for the lead. Look at Simon Allen there in 3rd place, and Kev Allen is up into 4th place. Nicely done there by Kev as well, recovering contact with Simon following that incident. Here comes Diogo Silva, and is this going to be a clean pass? It is. It looks like it, because Diogo is on the inside there for the Curva Grande, and we have a new leader. It's Diogo Silva in this race on lap 4 out of 14. And by the way, Kev Allen did overtake Simon Allen as well in the same spot, so the 2 Allens are now running 3rd and 4th. And Simon clearly not happy. He's trying to go back into the Lesmo 1. Now 5th place is Jumbo. He lost a bit of touch with the top 4, but he's running on his own, and something has happened here. Well, Jorge Jesus all of a sudden is shown in 6th place, and we will just rewind and see how he has done that, because he was in 9th place the last time we checked. So we suspect some massive drafting has happened, and this time, I guess successfully so, he ends up gaining a lot of positions from 9th place. Andrew Dalby lost more time. What was that has happened here? It was a mistake there by Andrew Dalby. And look at this. This was some good moves in here, as Jorge Jesus brakes very late, but basically drifts through the parabolica like a dream. Andrew Dalby runs wide and has contact with Scott Davely and also loses the position. And now Scott's exit speed has been compromised, and look at the drafting effect of this car, and Scott is probably going to be a bit of a sitting duck approaching the Curva Grande, because Jorge Jesus is coming with a lot more momentum and is going to go for it quite a late move there, but still okay. And he gets the 6th position. And now, what can he do from here? Scott Leslie drops to 7. 8 is David Emgen. 9th is Andrew Dalby, who was a couple of laps ago leading this race. And these drivers are sort of losing a little bit of time by just moving backwards and forwards. And this means that Darren Head potentially can join this pack, and probably Darren, that's what he wants to do, but that's not the way to do it. Oh, and that he collision there between Delphi Mora, who now leads this recovery group. And of course, what both drivers want is to reach the back of that pack, the pack that ends in 9th place with Andrew Dalby, because they will gain a lot of speed from drafting. Let's see if they are able to do so. Now, race leader is Diogo Silva, now end of lap 4. And let's see if Rob Oldham is going to come back at him and retake that lead. Doesn't look like it. Well, look at this. These two are way more animated as Simon Allen gets back into 3rd place, overtaking Kev Allen, but Kev is coming back at him with the draft, and we could see another change of position here. Now what this is generating is that we've got 2 pairs of drivers kind of working together to draft from one another. Look at this, Kev Allen almost losing it and losing the draft potentially of Simon Allen, but these 2 drivers until now working together quite nicely. And look at Jumbo, he's disappearing. The cars in front of Jumbo are disappearing in the horizon because Jumbo has no one to draft, but he might have a partner very soon because George Zeus is having a cracking race after those issues in the first few laps. We are not yet in the second half of this race, and George has a lot of pace. Look at that pace, 1:28.280. Scott Davis in 7th place. 8th is Andrew Dalby. 9th is Darren Head, so he has reached the back of the pack. 10th is Delphi Mora, the man who started on pole position. And look at this, I think Andrew Dalby maybe is going to be the sitting duck here, as Darren and Delphi are going to both overtake him. Here comes Darren Head on the inside of the Parabolica, and Delphi Mora is trying to go with him. Andrew Dalby brakes very late indeed and potentially compromises the exit speed. This is going to be interesting. Almost contact there with Darren Head, but Darren wisely moves away from it. Now here comes Delphi Mora, and he wants the position. Now he's going on the inside, and look at that. The drafting effect is absolutely massive. And again we've got the 3-wide situation with Andrew Dalby on the outside. This didn't work very well for him last time round. Let's see how it's going to work this time. He still is putting some resistance, and he's trying to go side by side with Darren Head through the curve. And then he does it. He does it surprisingly. He emerges ahead of both of them. But now we've got more drafting on the way to Lesmo 1 in what is now the 2nd chicane, and Andrew Dalby retains that position. Nice battle here between these 3 drivers for 8th place. And all drivers are a little bit in recovery mode. Look at Joey English. He has not recovered that much. I wonder if he had any other issues or incidents, because he otherwise would be expected to perform much more competitively. He had that coming together with George Zeus that really has affected his race, and now maybe it's just a matter of trying to get as many points as possible. There is David Emge 15th. He has had some sort of issue as well. 14th is John Scott. 13th is Joey English. 12th is Diogo Almeida. And now let's go back to the battle here, as it's now Darren Head ahead of everyone. And every time we look at this group, there is a different driver ahead. It's going to be Delphi Mora now, because Delphi is drafting there from Darren, and is going to go on the inside of Cripper Grande. Diogo Silva, by the way, is still the leader of this race as we are approaching the midpoint of the race. And Rob Oldham's 2nd place should be enough to clinch the championship, as the other drivers in contention are, well, somewhat down the order at the moment. Let's look at the Allens for a bit. We haven't seen what's going on with them, and here they are again working together to draft away from Jumbo. The gap is surprisingly only 3 seconds. Look at this. This almost reminds you of tandem racing in NASCAR a few years ago. We've got pairs of drivers, and look at that. That's a big one there. With well, it's not George Zhu, sorry, it's Jumbo. Jumbo has had a problem. Jumbo has had a problem of some kind, and we are going to be extremely careful rewinding here because of the bug that sometimes crashes the game. So we will just rewind a little bit, because I have a suspicion that Jumbo has lost time. Was it on his own? It wasn't. Well, he has lost quite a bit of time there, and I have a suspicion it may be that this happened when George Zouch went through him, but I'm not certain. We are not going to rewind much longer in the interests of time, but we will just try to figure out what on earth has happened to Jumbo. Well, he was overtaken by George Zouch. George has now opened a gap of around a second, and what's happening now with Jumbo is that he has a train of drivers drafting from one another. This is Darren Head going on the inside of Andrew Dalby, and Jumbo, unfortunately, as is Scott Davely, they're going to be in drafting distance of these drivers. So there is a massive high-speed train joining Jumbo and Scott Davely in a few corners. We'll just see that from Jumbo's perspective, going trackside again. You can see here there is in the Curva Grande. Now Jumbo has a partner in crime, which is now Scott Davely, so he is going to be going quicker as well. But look at that, there is that trio of Delphi Mora, Darren Head and Andrew Dalby, who currently sit in 8th, 9th and 10th. They're going to be joining Jumbo and Scott Davely in no time. And a few more straight. There's George Zouch, is already out of danger there. Oh, and the Jumbo making a big slide there through the second Lesmo. Look at that driver still using the second Lesmo there. A bit as an escape road. And now at the end of this lap, which is precisely the midpoint of this race, we are gonna have a group of 5 drivers. Look at this. These are the Allens, the white and blue car. They keep drafting from one another. This is George Zouch, and now we've got that group of 5 drivers. Here comes Delphi Mora on the inside of Scott Davely. On the inside of Scott Davely is Delphi Mora. Did he make it? The answer is well, they both made it through the corner, but Scott Davely remains ahead now. They need to absolutely draft from Jumbo. That's going to be key to retain the position, and it seems to me it's Scott Davely that's doing that. Scott Davely is doing that, and he's probably going to get ahead of oh no, Delphi Mora is going to come ahead. He's going to the inside line, and they're going to run side by side through the Curva Grande, and up into 7th goes Delphi Mora. Scott Davely is moving backwards in this race. He's now in 8th place. He's got Darren Head for company now, and Andrew Dalby has lost momentum. He's lost a few seconds. He is 4 seconds behind this quartet of drivers as things are becoming really dicey there. Oh, the collision between Delphi Mora and Jumbo, and Delphi Mora is going to recover from it. It doesn't spin, but he does lose time. Here comes Andrew Dalby. We'll get a replay of what on earth happened there. Delphi Mora down into 10 spots, and I think that it was just Jumbo who lost it in Lesmo 1, and I think rejoined. Well, let's see, they were very close, as the Delphi Mora is now going on the inside, but Jumbo is going to hit the barrier. Oh, and Delphi Mora also slid into Jumbo, and then he lost it, and doesn't quite spin, but it's enough to lose quite a lot of time. And crucially, also lose the drafting, although he's got Andrew Dalby for company now, and also Gonçalo Mota is a few seconds behind, and 11th and 12th are Gonçalo Mota and Diogo Almeida. Now the race leaders, I think they have concluded that there is no point in not working together right now. Rob Oldham is thinking about the championship and probably thinking about the win as well, but he's probably going to reserve his attack for the last few laps. We are on lap 9 now. Diogo Silva continues to lead this race. The Allens are changing position every now and then. Here comes Kev Allen on the inside of Simon, and Kev back into 3rd place. 5th is Jorge Jesus. 6th is now Darren Head. Darren Head is going on the outside there of Jambo, and nicely done there by Darren, up into 5th place. That's a good recovery following that incident on the opening lap. Scott Dabley also going around Jambo, and Jambo not going in the right direction there, as he keeps losing quite a bit of time. He's still in 7th place though, and behind these two drivers we have a combination of Delphi Moura and Andrew Dalby, and Delphi Moura already up into 9th, with Andrew Dalby completing the top 10. Towards the back we have drivers that clearly have lost the drafting opportunity of the pack. And by the way, David Emke has retired from this race. He's 2 minutes and 54 down and growing, so definitely he has retired. Here comes now Jambo on the inside of Darren Head. Nicely done there, putting the fight there and coming back into the top 6 for Jambo. But now he's vulnerable by a good exit by Darren, and here comes Scott Daly, who potentially is trying to draft from both of them. We'll keep an eye on the gap between the two leaders, but seems to me that Rob Oldham for now is happy to be in 2nd place, almost 3 wide there at the Curva Grande. But Scott Daly decides to get out of it wisely, and Jambo retains the position. Scott Daly started going on the outside of Darren Head, but didn't quite work. Darren Head retains 7th place, and maybe they are able to, through drafting, actually get closer to 5th place man Jorge Jesus. Keep an eye on that battle. Now they decide to go 3 wide on the approach to Lesmo 1, but the positions continue to be 6th Jambo, 7th Darren Head, and 8th is Scott Daly. Now Darren Head on the inside of Lesmo 2, but then compromises the exit, and here comes Jambo again, and Scott Daly is losing patience there, surely because he's got a fast car. But he's wisely not going 3 wide because he knows that's most likely going to be an accident. Look at the two drivers behind. That's now Delphi Moura got overtaken again by Andrew Dalby, and we have now 3 wide here as Darren Head is in a 6th spot, and Jambo is on the inside there at the parabolic, and I think Darren will have to yield most likely there, as he has. Oh, it's got David and Darren Head. Oh no! The two teammates collide at the Parabolica. That is well, disaster for Darren Head, who was doing such a good recovery. Scott Daly was on the inside. We'll get a replay of this incident, and we will give our verdict on this incident. It seems to me, well, these are two very clean drivers. They very rarely get into incidents, but in this case I think that, well, Scott was coming with a lot of momentum. Darren Head is on the outside. Now he has yielded. Jambo is on the inside and he's in 6th. And Darren was, well, this was the start of a spin, and Scott had nowhere to go, really. Realistically, he was trying to get out of it, but it was Darren that spun primarily, and then Scott had literally nowhere to go. Scott Daly still in 7th. But now up into 8th is Delphi Moura, but not for long, because Delphi is coming with the draft. And of course Scott Daly lost a lot of momentum, so there will be no time before we see Delphi Moura get into 7th place. Lap 11, and Rob Oldham is still in 2nd place. We'll keep an eye on that battle, and we'll start to shift our attention towards the battle for the leads, because Rob Oldham clearly is only 2. Oh, look at this, he's coming. He's coming, finally he's coming. Rob Oldham is starting to reduce that gap and potentially going to draft at the parabolic. I would say maybe not. Let's see what he decides to do. Keep an eye on other battles. But Rob Oldham is now has woken up and has decided that he might as well try to win this race and the championship, and that number 30 of Diogo Silva is a little bit vulnerable right now to an attack by Rob. Let's see what's going to happen here at the Curva Grande, and Diogo Silva already going defensive there on the inside, potentially on the inside of the Curva Grande. Let's have a look. They have almost 10 seconds advantage, so they could almost afford to tangle and still not lose second place. Diogo Silva retains the lead. Now here comes Simon Allen on Kev Allen. This has well, it's a carbon copy of the previous 4 or 5 overtakes, as now it's Kev Allen that goes on the inside and into third place. Then is George Jesus, and then is this group. Jumbo in 6th place, Delphi Moura in 7th, Scott Davely is in 8th, and 9th is Andrew Dalby. Scott Davely very close there to the back of Delphi Moura. We have, oh look at this, he's coming again, he's coming again, he's coming again, and now he's going for it. Now they're running side by side for the lead in this race on the approach of the Ascari. Diogo Silva retaining the inside line, but Rob Oldham is making his intentions very clear indeed, as he is going to try to overtake. Let's have a look at this. Delphi Moura is up into 6th place. Something happened with Jumbo. Something happened with Jumbo. We'll just do a quick rewind, as I think the incident happened here at the Lesmo corner potentially, and it was a bit of a kerfuffle there between let's have a look at what happened here with Jumbo. We'll get the trackside view, hopefully that will be visible. Jumbo is on the inside there, trying to defend his position. And Delphi Moura goes through, but Jumbo goes through the grass there. And Judalvi almost joins in sympathy, but Jumbo is struggling a little bit right now. Delphi Moura all of a sudden finds himself in a 6th spot. And Andrew Dalby, oh look at this, look at Scott Davely. Oh, Scott Davely on his own. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, what on earth happened to Scott there, as he was flying up in the air after hitting the barrier. But it seems to me that this was entirely self-inflicted, as we are going to have a look at the replay here. Now he was trying to go 3 wide, but there's literally no space there to make the move as he runs out of road. And then look at this absolutely brilliant physics from Project Cars 2, highly realistic. Now Scott Davely has lost a few positions. He's lost 9 places to Darren Head. He's lost 10 places to Gonçalo Mota, so this is not good for Scott Davely. In the last couple of laps of the race, he might even lose 11th place. And here comes Rob Oldham now. This is the penultimate lap of the race, and Rob Oldham is not going to make his move just yet. Is he waiting literally for the last lap of the race, which will come very, very shortly indeed. Simon Allen is in 4th and Kev Allen is in 3rd, but let's have a look at the battle for the lead as they are now in the last few corners. 1.5 more laps to go, and let's see if Rob Oldham is going to make a move there as he did last in the last lap. Is he going to try side by side here through Ascari? The answer is no. I think he's saving his efforts for the Parabolica, potentially for the start finish line. There's going to be a few more opportunities to draft, but is running out of time. Here come the 2 leaders to enter the last lap. Diogo Silva already going defensive on the inside. Rob Oldham is going on the outside. It's side by side racing for the lead, and Rob Oldham is going to go into the lead of this race, or is he the leader? Yes, he's the leader, and Rob Oldham, he's the leader of this race. Now what a move there, but he runs wide, and here comes Diogo Silva. They continue to run side by side. Now 1 more lap to go. Who's going to lead this lap? I think it's Rob Oldham. Rob Oldham is going to lead a lap again, and he just needs to lead one more lap, and here comes Diogo Silva on the inside. Surely he's got to take this opportunity because it's one of the last few opportunities to draft as they go side by side through Curva Grande. One more lap to go. Diogo Silva is the new leader. Diogo Silva is the new leader. There he goes, and oh, he hits the curb. He hits the curb and runs off the track. Oh! And is he going to spin? Yes! And is he going to retain second place? But more importantly, well, look at the Allens. The Allens are coming third and fourth, and third is still Kev. But your leader is Rob Oldham, who emerges from this battle and now just has to do a few more corners to clinch the win, and more importantly, the championship as well. What a season for Rob Oldham. He had never won in Old Folks Racing PlayStation before this season, but he won 4 races, and now he's going to win his 5th race, and with more wins than anyone else, more points than anyone else, he is definitely going to be the champion of this season. As Diogo Silva is, look at this, 10 seconds behind. He's still trying to defend from the Allens, but I think he's going to do it. Rob Oldham is going to see the checkered flag, and he's going to win race 1 of the 5th round, race number 9. Oh, look at this, look at this, that's Kev Allen. Kev Allen on the outside, and we didn't quite see what's happening there, but oh, and Simon Allen is, Simon Allen. No, it's Kev, sorry, Kev Allen is running wide, and we'll get a replay of this move. This is what we expected to happen in terms of the battle for the leads of this race, to go down to the wire. Well, Simon Allen was behind, he was coming on the inside. This is the last possible move of the race, and Simon executed it perfectly, but he's going to outbrake himself most likely there. Yes, he outbreaks himself, and then it's Kev, who surprisingly runs wide, and second place man is Diogo Silva. Third is going to be Simon Allen. Fourth is going to be Simon Allen. Fifth is going to be George Zuz, and sixth is going to be Jumbo. But here is another. We'll get the replay, and he's getting a bump from Darren Head. Where did Darren Head come from? We'll get a bit of a replay of this last lap, because this is going to be absolutely brilliant. What happened to Delphine Moura as well? He was in 6th place. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What on earth happened to Delphine Moura? We need to check what happened here, because he was pretty much clear in 6th place. And where did he lose this position? And how did he lose it? Because he was running on his own, so it's quite... Well, we shall do a complete investigation here. I do apologize for the rewinding, but we did not expect Delphine Moura to drop like this. So we are going to review the last couple of laps of this group as... Oh, it was at the Parabolica, and did he have any assistance from Andrew Dalby? Yes, he had. So there was a little bit of a drama there with this group, because Delphine Moura was caught by Andrew Dalby. Jumbo was a little bit further back, but this is the situation at the start of the last lap. Well, nothing wrong with this move so far. Andrew Dalby is not completely side by side, but he's certainly entitled to space there. And then it's a combination of and the interlock wheels there. I think Andrew Dalby definitely could have given a bit more space, and Delphine probably would have given a bit more space as well. And they end up and quite a big incident there that we had missed, and that's how Darren Head got into. That is how Darren Head got into 7th. Delphine Moura now lost the draft. Gonçalo Mota is in 10th place, but we will follow the last lap with Darren Head. Jumbo is up into 6th place. Now Darren Head is in a good position here, because he's got a few drafting opportunities there in the last lap. Andrew Dalby is too far behind. Delphine Moura probably too far behind. Up into 10th is Joey English, that has made a bit of a recovery and has overtaken Gonçalo Mota. Scott Davesley down into 12th. He's definitely not having a good race. He may recover a position here from Gonçalo Mota, but this is what happened with Darren. He tries here at the second Lesmo, Remember, only a few more corners to go in this race. And now it's a drag race towards the Parabolica, and Darren is in a very good position. But what's going to happen at the Parabolica is, I think Jambo is going to try to put some resistance, and he's still going to emerge ahead. We shall see. I'm quite curious to see what happened here. Darren clearly is waiting for the last moment. He is now decided and committed on the inside. Jambo, nice late braking and doesn't run wide, but compromises the exit speed, and Darren almost losing it there. But Jambo is going to finish 6th. Nice work there by Jambo to finish 6th. 7 Darren Head, 8 is Andrew Dalby, 9th is Delphi Moira, 10th is, oh, look at that. Is this are they running side by side? Delphi Moira and Joey English. We'll get a trackside view of this, because I'm not so sure who finished. Look at that. Look at Joey English at the last possible moment, gets the position, 9th place. 10th is Delphi Moira. He's going to be disappointed with that. 11th is going to be Gonçalo Mota. 12th is going to be Scott David. 13th is going to be Diogo Almeida. A bit of a race to forget for him. And 14th and last on the road, we haven't spoken too much about him, except when he lost quite a lot of time on the opening lap, is going to be John Scott. He's now at the Parabolica, but he's still going to be classified on the lead lap in 14th. So we have race 1 of the last round complete. We have a new champion, and we have one race to go, always here in the Elaborated channel. The best action from Old Fox Racing PlayStation and other sim racing activity. Thank you very much for following, and we shall see you in race 2.